Hi, this is Janice Crows from 5minutesformom.com and Janice Crows Photography. At 5 Minutes for Mom, we love PicMonkey and are always recommending it to our readers. PicMonkey is a great online photo editing solution that makes editing fast and easy and really inexpensive. This week, PicMonkey made an incredible update to their website. I am so excited about this update because it fixes one of my main frustrations with PicMonkey. So now PicMonkey is pretty darn near perfect. So let's dig into what PicMonkey has done to update their collage and editor features and how they have made them work together. First, I'm going to create a collage. When I get into the collage, I'm going to open the photos that I have already on my computer. Once I have my images open in Collage, I'm going to choose the layout that I want for this collage. I click right here and I'm going to choose Square Deal and go with the 9-cell option. Next, I'm going to head back to my images by clicking here, and I'm just going to simply drag my images over where I want them in my collage. Now that I have my images in roughly the places that I want them for my collage, I'm going to go over and adjust my borders. I actually want to go with a borderless look, so I'm going to take the spacing right down. You could bring it down. I often do just a thin white border. This time I'm going to go with no border at all. Then I'm going to jump back over here to my images, and I'm going to do some adjustments and some edit. We can now edit the images in the cells right where they are. We can resize, move them around, and even adjust their exposure. First, I think I've decided that I want to switch these two photos. What's great is it's just a quick, simple drag and swap. Now I have this photo up here. I can move it by simply dragging it where I want it and move my pictures around. In some cases, and this is what, again, I'm really excited about, I can zoom in. I'll go into the edit options here, and zoom into the picture, and then resize and move it. I can also adjust the exposure, bringing it down if I feel that the picture is brighter than the other ones, or bringing it up. I had already edited these images for my clients that they were for so they're pretty close to what I want for my image, for my final collage, but I will make some adjustments. I think, for instance, this one might be a little bit lighter, so I will darker than the others. I'm just going to bring it up a tiny bit. So again, in this actual cell, I just click on it and I can edit the basic edits right here. Now, if you are a Royale subscriber, you can click on this Effects, and you can use 6 of their most popular one-click edits if you wanted to change the look of an image right in the cell. I love that dusk look. And you can actually take the image right over and open it in the editor. Let's try that just to show you how it works. Now we're over here in the full editor. This is fabulous. We can go in and make all of the changes using all of the power of the editor. We could crop it, we can rotate, flip, we can adjust exposure, all of color sharpen, all of the resize, all of those basic edits that we would do here normally, plus everything. Everything in the editor. This is why PicMonkey is so fabulous. Look at all of the effects you can do. It's just amazing. It's fabulous. And they continue to increase and add constantly to the options and features that they have available for both their free users and their Royale subscribers. I highly recommend becoming a Royale subscriber. It is so inexpensive, $4.99 a month or $33 a year. For those of us who are also Adobe users and use Photoshop and Lightroom and all of the Adobe offerings, this is such an inexpensive option. I really recommend it. $4.99 for a month or $33 for a year. And also, I personally, when I use a program like this, I really want to support the company. I'm really grateful that they've made such a great website for people to use, and I want to make sure that they survive and thrive, and so I want to support them by becoming a subscriber. When you are a subscriber, as I said, you can get all of the extra features that have this little crown next to them. Okay, so if you're a free user, no worries, you can still use 60% of their offerings, and it's still a powerful editing tool. But for $4.99 a month or $33 a year, which works out to only like $2.75 or something a month, you can have all of this at your fingertips, and I really recommend it. So here are their touch-ups. You can go in if you see that she has some blemishes. We can go in and change it. Again, I had already pre-edited these video images, so they're already ready to go. But this is some of the things that we could do. If I hadn't, if I get into collage and I realize, oh, maybe she has dark circles under her eyes or some blemishes that I want to fix, this is where we add text. They've got lots, and they've been adding new fonts, which I'm really excited about, and I'll talk about in another video. Overlays, and we'll do an overlay on this on this whole collage, so I'll go in and show you more later. Again, frames, textures, and some fun stuff. So now let's pretend I've done some editing here. I've already had edited this image, but once it's ready to go and I want it back to my collage, I simply click on Back to Collage, and it throws it right back into this place. Now, clearly I don't want to have this one only with an effect, since I'm keeping the effects that I have. So I'm just going to go back to the original, click on original, and that is all good. And then I can close this edit box when I am done editing. Now let's just check this one. I'm going to zoom in a little bit. I'm going to go back to the basic when I'm in here. Don't worry if you're all of a sudden, where did my basic go? Just click over here to basic, takes you back to the basic, and effects takes you to the one-click effects and your option to open it in the edit, open the image in the editor. So let's get back to basic. We're just going to zoom in on this photo a bit and pan and move it and resize and move where we want that to be. Let's check our other images. We'll close that one and let's check. Let's move them over a little. How are they doing? Should we bring her up a little? I think that she's okay. Well, let's zoom in on this one a little and bring her up a smidgen. There we go, just to fill that frame a little better. Perfect. Okay, actually, speaking of which, I'm going to move her down a little. Yeah, I had room on that image to just bring her down, so her head's not too close to the top. Okay, and now this is looking, oops, should I move this one over? Can you see that I'm a bit of a perfectionist? Okay, but PicMonkey, they have made it so easy to move these images around. This is what I was waiting for. This has now transformed PicMonkey for me, and now that I can resize my images right in their cells, move them around, adjust their exposures. These were the main frustrations that I'd had with PicMonkey. Now that they have resolved this, I am just the happiest little PicMonkey user ever, so I'm just ecstatic. Now you can see I have an empty square here. You might be wondering what I'm doing about that. Well, for this collage, I'm using it to make a design for my post. So what I'm going to do is I want some text in here, and I want to put something behind there to make something funky for my text to sit on. So I'm going to grab an image from over here that has some sky. There we go. I'm going to pull this over, and I'm going to zoom in, move it, and grab myself my own little personal swatch here. Oh, let's get her hair out of there. Perfect. Bring it down a bit so that's caught. And when I bring it into editor, oops, I got more cloud on the bottom there. I'm just going to zoom that in a little bit more. Then when I get into the editor, I'm actually going to use their new cloud overlay and enhance those clouds a bit since they're a bit white. So now I'm just checking over here to make sure that I have my collage complete, that it's all ready to go into the editor. So now I'm going to click on Edit. This, again, is the new feature. We can hit this edit and take this collage over to editor without saving it to our computer, without reopening it, without naming it. All of those steps are gone, which increases my productivity and makes me a happy camper. So I'm just going to hit edit, make sure that you're ready, and I am ready. So I'm going to click open in editor. Now I am over in editor, a happy little camper with my full editor options here to finish up my collage and make it web ready for my website. First, before I come in and add my text, I'm going to use some of their basic editing. Actually, I'm going to go into effects and I'm going to come down into curves. And like I said, I had already edited these images for the client that I had photographed them for, but just for some fun to show you that they have a great curves option here. We'll just show you how we can even enhance this a little, bring out the darks, bring out the contrast a little in curves, so you can do your own custom, or they have presets available and you can adjust them. It's just incredible. Like, it's incredible that you can get all of these things just with this very inexpensive, easy to access software. Again, you do not have to download PicMonkey onto your computer. You can just use it online. So we've adjusted our curves a smidgen. Let's just bring that up. Curves are a thing that you can spend a lot of time fiddling with. Let's say that that's how we want it. We can fade the effect if we want. There you go. And now we're going to hit apply. As I said, there are so many different effects and things for you to do. We could change our whole image if we wanted and put it in something funky like dusk. I love that. That's really cool. Again, all of these things you can fade them. So say you want just a little bit of that. That's really cool. That's really nice. We are going to close that and cancel that off because I'm going to leave these images just with a curves adjustment. Now I want to add some text in here, and so I'm going to come down to the text feature. I am so thrilled that they have added in new fonts. I'm going to go with Geo Sans Light, a lovely font, and I'm going to hit add text, and I will start adding in my text and moving it around as I want it. In the text editor, we can make different adjustments to our text. We can change the color of the text, fade it in and out, adjust the size here, or click and drag the size, center it, put it to the left, to the right. I'm going to center this, and I've already resized it a little, and once I click on it, I can just move it around as well. So I'm just going to get this size how I want it. Again, I can just click on this to activate it. For you Photoshop users, what I love about PicMonkey is I don't have to go over to my Layers tab and click on my layers to move something. I can just grab it and move it, and it makes it so much faster and easier. And if I want to resize this, I can just bring it down a little. It's a little big. There we go. And now let's grab, actually, I think this is a little bit bigger than I want. I'm just going to resize it a smidgen. Now that I've finished the text, I want to add my own watermark here from my website. I'm going to head into the overlay section and click on your own, and I can grab my watermark that I have saved on my computer. Once it brings in my watermark, I can just click and drag it and edit that overlay the same, similar to in the text editor. So right now I'm going to drag it to just make it a bit smaller. I'm going to move it where I want it. I'm going to fade it out a little so it's not so strong. And then I'll click here. Now I think that this is higher than I want. Again, as I mentioned, I love this feature that I can just click it, instantly activate my text editor box here and move it without switching back over on the left into text, and without clicking layers or anything that I normally do in Photoshop. I am, of course, as a photographer, a heavy Photoshop and Lightroom user, but when I'm making collages for my website and doing fun projects for my kids and different projects, I often choose PicMonkey instead of Photoshop because I can do something faster in PicMonkey than in Photoshop sometimes. It depends what you're wanting to do. Now that I've got my text finished, I want to make this swatch behind my text a little bit more fun, a little bit brighter, and bring in some more clouds. I had made this swatch over in Collage from a part of this sky, but it's a little pale. So I'm going to go over into the overlay, to the textures, and use one of the brand new textures they have added in to the editor. I'm really excited about these new textures, water and clouds. Clouds is Royale and water is for all users. Now, it probably would have been faster if when I was in Collage, I had decided to make this swatch then, and I could have taken that image, the cell over, fixed it there, and then brought it back into the Collage with, as I showed you with the editor feature. But I wanted to show you this other way of doing it, where say you've already brought your collage over here and you've decided now you want to add something to one of your a texture, but you don't want it on the entire image. Since often when we add textures, we're usually painting them off faces or different things, I thought I would show it to you this way. So we're going to bring the clouds over, and I'm going to choose these clouds. And what I'm going to do, as you can see, you generally don't want textures going over faces of people. I'm actually going to take the texture off of all of these and only leave it in here. And then I will fade out this texture so it's still not so strong, and it's just more gives the effect of blurred clouds rather than the actual clouds. So how I'm going to do that is I'm going to click on the paint, and this is going to give me a paintbrush where I can paint off the original. Paint off the effect and just show my original. I'm going to give myself a big brush here to work with so I can move this fast because I'm taking it off a large portion. So we just paint over. I'm going to keep my brush strength at 100 because I want to completely brush this off. If I only wanted to take off a bit of it, I can bring it down and then leave it more. Say I wanted to keep the clouds and add more clouds into all of these guys, what I can just do is brush it off a little bit more there to enhance it, bring my strength back up, bring down my brush size, maybe not that much, and brush it off of them. Now I've got some more clouds in the sky. Oops, and if you've gone a little bit more, you want to do something, undo it, undo, last action. I'm just going to undo that, do it again. I have my brush hardness down at 0, so the edges are feathering. It just gives a softer edge when I'm trying to blend in the effects, the texture to where I have worked at. Okay, and so say I wanted to add those clouds there into that particular image, then I can go, oh, it's still a little bit stronger than I want, so I'm going to bring down, I can either do it over here and fade down the whole effect, okay, which I'm going to do later, but I'm going to keep it bright right now just so we can see the difference while I'm working, and just for ease of working. Or you can always, again, take your brush strength and paint some of it off there in your brush strength. Say you wanted it a little bit lighter there, a little bit lighter there. But what I'm doing is I am going to remove it from all of the other images simply because I'm doing it for a design sort of purpose with the thing. Again, I have it darked simply so I can see where I'm working, and I'm going to fade the effect after. I should leave some of those clouds in those images because they're fabulous. Those are really fabulous clouds. But I want to show you how I made the actual image that I used on my website for this post, so I'm going to do it this way because this is what my final image did look like. But I can promise you I will be using those clouds to just bring in a little bit in future images, sometimes to just enhance the clouds that you may or may not have had when you were photographing. Remember, though, to brush off your subjects. You don't want clouds running through your subjects' faces. That would look odd. So we're just going to brush this down, make sure it's coming off of here. If you use if you use the hardness, your edge is going to be really hard and it's harder to get straight. If we use a soft brush, you can have a more of a feathered effect near the edge. As well, if you use a larger brush, that fading effect will be more subtle, that feathering effect. And sometimes, ironically, it's easier to work it with a big brush. Okay, so now I've done that, and you can see, oh, well, that looks a little bit excessive. So what I'm doing is I'm going to bring down the fade and bring it way down, just so I sort of have the idea. Now say I decide, I want different clouds. Maybe I want to try these clouds. I can just jump over here and try those clouds instead, and all of this brushing, this effect, this work that I've done to make sure that the effects off of all of here is still there. That one looks great. I actually, in the one I used on my website, ended up using this one. I think I had faded it a lot. but I like that one better. But, you know, every time you work, you might change things up. But let's put it like that. It gives a little bit of an effect of some clouds behind it. And there we have a fun swatch made. I didn't have a swatch saved on my computer for behind here. And with their great textures, it's easy to make a swatch to add to your image, to your collage. Okay, so now I'm just going to review what I've done, make sure I have everything here. I can close this and hit apply, so that keeps what I've done. So now that I have my image all ready to go, I'm going to think about maybe adding a frame. PicMonkey has provided so many fun frames, and I use them all the time when I'm making buttons or images for my website. I'm going to go with the museum mat for this one just for fun. And I'm going to bring down the thickness. I'm just adjusting it with these sliders until I like it. And then I might bring down this color a bit. It's a little strong. You can use an eyedropper tool and grab something from your image. Say you wanted to make your frame blue. That's one way to do that. If you grab some color from your image, and you can use it directly from your image, or you can just come down here and use the preset different colors. Say I just want to make it a gray tone. Now I have my completed collage. I apply my frame. Now that my image is complete, all I have to do is click save, and I can save it to my machine. I can adjust my name here. PicMonkey gives us the options of what size file and what quality we want to keep our images at. Often when I'm making an image, I want to save the full size, the full dimensions of the image that I created, and the full file size, just in case I want to use the image for something else, even if I'm making it for the web like I'm making here, in case I wanted to use it for a workshop or teaching purposes or print it for any other reason. Clearly I'm not going to upload a 2.4 megabyte size to my website, but I may save it so I have that option. Then I will come back and resize it for the size I want for my website. Okay, so I'm going to come back up here to basic edit and we'll see resize. Now I know that I want my dimensions, I'm going to use this at about 590 pixels wide on my website. So I will add this pixel size in. I will say keep proportions because I don't want the sizes of the portions of my collage adjusted, and then I will hit apply. Now I have a much smaller file, and then I will go back and save this small file for my web use. As you can see, just by changing the pixel size, we have a much smaller file to work with. I'll go in and save it with a different name. And then for my website, I will choose one of the smaller quality options so that I increase the speed of my website by not having large images slowing down how fast my site loads. So then I will save this web size version. So there you have it. Here's our final image. It's ready for me to post on my website, and it was much easier and much faster with the new updates from PicMonkey for Collage and Editor. Thank you so much, PicMonkey, for making our lives faster and easier and always more fun. And thank you for watching 5minutesformom.com.